Hey everybody, what is going on? Welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to be giving my review of the Oculus Rift. So this is my Oculus Rift, and it's actually this, and then plus you get this positional tracker here, which tracks basically where the Rift is in space. Sorry I couldn't pull it out really far. It's wired and it goes between or back behind my computer and stuff, and I didn't want to pull it. So anyway. Pretty cool. That positional tracker, in theory, is supposed to sit on top of your monitor and be 5 feet from you and be facing you and all this, but that thing can be anywhere. I've had it down on my desk, not even facing, and it still tracks really well. So, well, I don't really know how it works, but it works. So anyway, the Rift. What are the good things? What are the bad things? And what are the amazing things? Basically. The bad things are the lenses. So they come and they have two different lenses. They've got one for regular people and one for nearsighted people. I'm nearsighted, so I tried the nearsighted lens. Not powerful enough. So one of the things people want to know is, are you going to go blind using the Oculus Rift? And the answer is no, because your eyes are not focusing. So whenever you have, say you're playing a Game Boy and you're holding the Game Boy up to your face like this, your eyes are having to focus on that screen a half an inch away or whatever. And with the Oculus Rift, that's not really the case, right? You have the screen here, but then you've got these two lenses, and what the lenses are doing is they're adding distance between you and the screen. So yes, you're looking at a screen that's close, but your eyes aren't actually focusing on the screen at that close distance. So no, you're not going to go blind using it. But there's actually a lot of research on that, so if you're really curious on it, you can look it up. I'm not an optometrist. So anyways, what are my thoughts on this thing? Honestly, it's a lot better than I thought. I wasn't really sure what to expect with it. I'd never actually tried or demoed an Oculus Rift, so I didn't really know if it was going to be if it was overhyped or if it was really good. But it's actually really impressive. For one, I didn't expect it to be as 3D feeling as it is. Everything is 3D, so it's looking watching if you've ever seen a 3D movie or something. It's basically like that, minus the whole red and blue nonsense. and so that's really cool. I'm really impressed with the 3D. The screen itself is actually really panoramic. There are some times when it doesn't feel panoramic, and then sometimes where it does. I'm not really sure what changes that, because the screen is a fixed size within the Rift. But some games do it really well, and some games don't. I don't know. But I would say the number one thing with the Rift, and it's only a thing with the DK2, is that you have positional tracking. So if I'm sitting here and I have the Rift on my head and I look this way, I'm actually looking that way in the game, or looking this way, or up or down. That's incredible. And that really gives you an immersive effect into the game. So that is probably the number one thing. So that's why the DK2 just totally blows the DK1 out of the water. Because before, the DK1 was basically a 3D screen on your face. That's basically it. And so I think the DK2 is pretty much maybe a dumbed down version, but I don't know that they're going to be able to add too many more features at that point. They are coming out with a consumer version apparently within months of now. And I believe the price point, this one was $350, but they want the consumer version to be $250. And I don't really see why they can't do that, so I think that will be the case. And speaking of cases, this should have come with a case. It does not come with a case, and it should have. Anyways, or at least a cover, not even a case, just something to cover over here so dust doesn't get in there. Anyway, where was I? Okay, so games and stuff like that. So I mean, how is it? Well, first of all, motion sickness. If the game is not really made for the Rift, or if your computer's not fast enough, when you're looking around, it judders a little bit. So if you've set everything too high or your computer is running too hard, that's going to happen. It's just lag, basically. And that will make you sick. And no different than, too, a lot of games, again, that aren't made for the Rift, when they're at a loading screen, everything is solid, so you could look around and nothing happens. Well, after playing the Rift and being able to look around, and then now you, look around and nothing changes, that's really disorienting. So that too needs to stop. But anyway, what I think most impressed about is the amount of support the DK2 actually already has. So the DK2 is not a consumer model. It's a development kit, period. So I kind of thought that you would just play demos with it, and that was basically all you had. Within a really short time, though, I found out you can play Half-Life 2 with the Oculus Rift, which is like a first-person shooter game, and really probably one of the more famous games of its time, or at least impressive games of its time. So it's like a little bit pre-PlayStation 2 graphics or something. But you can play that on the Oculus Rift. And that game, I would say, is the best game for the Oculus Rift, okay? Because it's a first-person shooter, but it gives you the true effect of full, like, immersiveness into the game. None of the other games have really done that. There's a couple of demos that have where, especially if you're in a cockpit, so if you're like in a fighter jet, a helicopter, or a Euro truck, right? If you're in a truck or car, like a racing game, stuff like that. Those are, I think, where the Oculus shines the most, because in real life you're actually sitting down and you can't move. Whereas with a first-person shooter, in theory, you can spin around 180 degrees and run down the hallway. Can't do that while you're wearing an Oculus Rift. First of all, you'd probably run out of cord, but also you'd like slam into a wall. So you can't do that. But interestingly enough, not only is Half-Life 2 available, there's a driver called VorpX. Now, I don't really know how long these guys will be in the game, just simply because I think game makers will start incorporating drivers for the Oculus Rift. But with VorpX, what you can do is you can play older games, or even kind of current games. So Battlefield 3, 4, or the Call of Duties, Need for Speed games, like a huge list, Scrim, like all these stuff you can play on the Oculus Rift using the driver. I've only played Battlefield 4 with it, and then I try to play Need for Speed, but for some reason in Need for Speed, like my menu is like switching really fast between options, and I can't actually play the game, so I'm a little bummed about that. But because I also have a driving wheel, a shifter, pedals, I've got everything for Need for Speed, so I really want that to work. But anyway, so you can do that. You can get the driver and play a bunch of games. And honestly, I was really impressed with how easy it was to set everything up. Okay, so I have 4 monitors here, and the Rift acts as a 5th monitor, basically. You can use direct to Rift, and then it works a little different. For the most part, direct to Rift does not work. You have to treat Rift as its own little monitor. And if you don't have windowed mode in your games, you have to treat the Rift as your main monitor. That's a huge problem, because it's got like this double vision stuff. So like if you're looking at a regular image on the Rift, you can't see shit. Okay, but another interesting thing though, and why I think the Rift is and really VR is the future, is the following. There is another demo it's just called Virtual Desktop, and what it is it's just your desktop right on the Rift. So it's a little 3D, but what the kicker is, you can make your screen as big as you want or as small as you want. You can make it flat, you can make it curved, you do all kinds of stuff. So like for example, every single one of my monitors, I got 4 monitors here, so I've got like a lot of space. Each monitor was $250. So this is $1,000 of monitors right here. Whereas this, you can buy this for $350, or the consumer edition hopefully will be $250. So a quarter of the price. Have 4 monitors, or 6, or 8, right? You can have unlimited monitor space, right? Same thing with like television, movies, that kind of stuff. You can watch it on the Rift and have a gigantic screen. Not only that, but you can have like immersive videos, immersive movies, and stuff like that. And there are already immersive movies out right now. It's crazy. And also, for you more risque folk, I thought, you know, it's a kind of a joke, but it's serious. The Oculus Rift, there's porn on the Oculus Rift. And I thought, okay, this is just computer graphics kind of stuff. No, the porn makers have gone above and beyond everyone's expectations. They're just like recording it with like 360-degree panoramic stuff, right? And so it's totally immersive porn too, right? And it's real people. It's not computer stuff, like everything. And then you've got the porn industry doing it just because they can do it short term and like they have the funding and people are going to buy it. but like also like movies that are coming out, just plain movies, non-pornographic movies. We're starting to see like first person movies coming out where you can look around in the actual movie as it's happening. So like I saw one that was like a first person movie for, I don't know, some like warlike movie. Anyway, just really like crazy stuff. Like I'm really interested to see how all of this plays out. Like I said, it's a lot further along than I thought. Like I thought this was still really kind of beta stuff, and it is beta. But if this is beta, like I don't know what the real is going to be like, but it's impressive. That's all I have to say. So I highly recommend it. If you have the money to spend, go for it. Although Oculus did recently come out, like just a few days ago, and said that their consumer model is actually months away. It's not a long ways away. So that could be 6 months, but they're saying that it's actually pretty close. So you might want to hold out for that. But just know that like it's definitely a lot further along than I thought. I had no idea. Basically everything across the whole spectrum is way further along and way better than I thought it was going to be. So anyway, that's my glowing review for the Oculus Rift. And also, I would say the best game for it right now is Half-Life 2. And the reason is Half-Life 2. Half-Life 2 was not made for the Rift, but I think someone went through and actually like made it for the Rift, basically. Whereas like with Battlefield, when I'm playing that, it's really more like I'm looking at a big 3D screen, right? That's not so immersive. Where like with Half-Life 2, if I look to the left like this, I'm looking just like that to the left, or like this, I'm looking perfectly that amount, up, down, everything. Whereas with Battlefield 4, when I'm playing that and I'm looking around, it's more like when I look over here, I'm really just looking at like the top right of the screen, right? Because Battlefield 4 does not really support the Oculus Rift, right? So this is just a driver that goes on top. It makes it 3D, which is really cool, but it doesn't have that immersive effect like Half-Life 2 does. So I still think my favorite thing is Half-Life 2. I probably won't always play Battlefield with the Oculus Rift, but it is fun on the Oculus Rift. It's mostly just fun to like fly like jets and helicopters around with the Rift, like not fight anybody. Because the other problem too right now with the Oculus Rift is it's really pixelated. So if you've ever looked at it like a television screen really close, you can like see all the little pixels. You can do that on the Oculus Rift. That's a problem, especially on Battlefield, where the person you might be aiming at is a total of maybe like 5 pixels or something. And when you're looking at them that close, it's really hard to like register that, oh, that's where the person is. So normally, I'm okay at Battlefield, but when I put on the Oculus Rift, I'm horrible. It's really fun, but you're going to die a lot. And so that's kind of a downside. It needs to be a lot crisper. But like I said, I'm way more impressed than I thought I would be with this. I wasn't really sure if I'd wind up buyer's remorse or not, but I was really curious, like, where are we in virtual reality? And we're really far. So anyways, that's that. If you guys have any questions or comments about the Oculus Rift or this video or whatever, feel free to leave them below. Otherwise, as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support and subscriptions. Till next time.